Live from Melbourne, this is 7's Afternoon News with Jacqueline Felgate.
Welcome to this edition of 7 News. It's 4 o'clock. Here's what's making headlines in Melbourne this afternoon. A building site emergency in Melbourne's north. 5 men in hospital as scaffolding collapses. Also, the mystery death of a little girl found in a car in Gippsland. A vulnerable victim tells how he was injured in a dog attack. Stranded Australians fly home from Wuhan as the coronavirus cripples Melbourne businesses. And Novak Djokovic on the back foot after a controversial Australian Open win. First at 4, 5 men are in hospital, 2 in a serious condition after scaffolding collapsed at a building site in Melbourne's north. Melina Saris joins us live from the scene. Good afternoon, Melina. How did this happen?
Well, Jackie, I'm told the workers were putting up the scaffolding at the time and it was quite a chaotic scene. It's a 3-storey townhouse development here in Craigieburn and the structure was around 10 metres high. Some workers fell to the ground with that scaffolding while others managed to jump back onto the building and to safety. 2 men suffered serious injuries and they have been taken by ambulance to the Royal Melbourne Hospital and to the Alfred Hospital. 3 other workers are in hospital in a stable condition. There were quite a few tradesmen working on this site at the time, but thankfully many of them were inside the building.
They were actually up on the scaffolding working at the time, and they've ridden the scaffolding down to the ground. And another additional fella as well, we found out later, actually jumped from the top of the scaffolding and he's being treated now.
The site has been shut down and WorkSafe investigators are on site trying to figure out how this happened, Jackie.
OK, thank you very much for the update, Melina Saris there. An investigation is underway into the death of a 3-year-old girl in Gippsland. The little girl died on Friday with reports she may have been left in a hot car. Paul Dowsley has more.
The details of exactly how this happened aren't yet clear, but the result is absolutely heartbreaking. A 3-year-old girl found unresponsive in her mum's car in her driveway in Morwell and later pronounced dead at the scene.
From what I could see, they had a child on the lawn and they were obviously trying to resuscitate her.
I just saw some emergency services parked outside the house, about 3 police cars and 2 ambulances.
Emergency services were called here last Friday night around 8:30. It had been a hot day. At that time, it was 34.4 at the closest weather station to Morwell, and that day it had peaked at 42.7. Neighbours have told us today a recently separated single mum lives at the house with her 3 daughters, and that the middle child, the 3-year-old girl who died, was a beautiful and curious little girl. One theory is that she was hiding in the boot of the family SUV, and by the time her mum discovered her, it was too late. Police have not said how long she had been in the car or how she came to be there, but the investigation is now being overseen by the homicide squad.
A grandfather has told how he was attacked by a dog as he sat on his mobility scooter. As Cameron Bow reports, the pet's owner ran off, leaving the victim badly hurt and bleeding.
The dog attack was vicious, but the response by the woman who was with the dog was cold-blooded. Gary Ward, who needs to use a mobility scooter due to ill health, was left bleeding heavily and in a panic after being bitten. Around 11:30 yesterday afternoon, he was mauled on Heather Hill Road in Frankston while in his scooter and on his way home from a medical appointment. The grandfather of 6 says he approached the dog after it seemed friendly, but he says it then bit the back of his hand, causing serious injury. The woman who was walking the dog then dragged it away and fled the scene.
The woman was very shocked. I think it was probably very much out of character. She was mortified, right? But not mortified enough to stop to see if I was going to die. I thought it had actually damaged an artery, so I was panicking. And I held onto it and I looked around, she's 50 metres up the road going hell for leather.
Gary was hospitalised last night and had plastic surgery on the wound. The woman is believed to have blonde hair, has a solid build and is possibly aged in her 30s. The dog is tan-coloured, possibly a boxer with a long tail. Now, the attack is being investigated by the Frankston Council, but police have been notified as well.
An emergency flight filled with the Australians fleeing the coronavirus epicentre in China is on its way home. Live to Al Georgiou in WA, where the plane is scheduled to land. Al, it is a landmark operation.
Jackie, good afternoon. It sure is. This is a massive operation for our federal government, which will all come to a head in about 2 hours' time when this direct Qantas flight, direct from Wuhan, touches down here at Learmont Air Base in WA's Pilbara region. It'll bring with it more than 250 Australians aboard, but once they get here, they will not be staying for too long at all. They'll then be put onto 2 smaller planes that can safely land and make the 4-hour journey to Christmas Island. Then they'll stay there for the next 2 weeks and be quarantined at the empty detention centre to determine whether or not they do indeed have the deadly coronavirus. Our Foreign Minister Marise Payne says so far this major evacuation operation has been running smoothly and successfully at the early stage. Take a listen.
This has been a very orderly exercise, and I want to thank all those involved for that. We have prioritised vulnerable and isolated Australians, which is reflected in the fact that 89 of the Australians on the flight are aged under 16, and that includes 5 infants under 2.
The deadly coronavirus has now claimed the lives of more than 360 people across mainland China. But Jackie, just repeating, that Qantas flight direct from the epicentre of the coronavirus outbreak from Wuhan is due to touch down here at Learmont Air Base in WA's Pilbara region in less than 2 hours now. Back to you.
Al Georgia reporting there from WA. Victoria's Environment Minister is vowing to track down and punish those responsible for the deaths of dozens of koalas in the state's southwest. More from Cassie Zervos in Portland.
Dozens of koalas have been found dead and others have been euthanased after their habitat was logged late last year. Southwest Fibre conducted the first logging in November, but they claim they did nothing wrong.
Southwest Fibre was not involved in the land clearing that killed and injured the koalas, and we're horrified of that event.
They're blaming the landowner Russell Truth. His son has since admitted subsequent logging, but says that most of the koalas found dead on the land died of starvation.
What I'm also interested in, and deadly serious about this, is bringing to account every single person who's responsible for this devastation.
Blue Gum Plantation has now been seized by the state government and a criminal investigation is underway.
I think there's been not one logging operation here, but there may well have been 2. And one may well have been in accordance with the rules, and the other one not.
Portland resident Helen Oakley first raised the alarm with authorities after hiking in the area and finding dead koalas.
Australia should be ashamed of this.
Blue Gum Plantation in Portland will remain a crime scene until the investigation is concluded.
Police have shot dead a convicted terrorist after he stabbed 2 people in London. He was wearing a fake bomb when he attacked shoppers days after being released from prison. Europe correspondent Hugh Whitfeld reports.
The attack happened here in a suburban part of South London, the busy Sunday afternoon shopping rush. The attacker, 21-year-old Sadesh Aman, who only in the last couple of days had been released from prison after pleading guilty to 13 terror offences, including the possession and distribution of extremist material believed to be a bomb-making manual. He was being actively tracked by counter-terrorist officers, and it was those officers who fired the fatal shots just after Aman attacked 2 people, stabbing them in the street. The police are treating this as a terror-related incident and Islamist-related terror incident at that. Police believing that at one stage Aman was wearing a suicide vest or explosive device. That has turned out to be a hoax device.
We are confident that this is an isolated incident that has been contained. Officers from our counter-terrorism command are investigating at pace.
1 person is in hospital in a life-threatening injury. 2 others have non-life-threatening injuries in hospital. 2 people were stabbed. A 3rd person was injured by glass as a result of those officers opening fire. The attacker, Aman, described as knife-obsessed, and the Prime Minister saying in the next 24 hours he will announce fundamental changes to the system for dealing with those convicted of terror offences. As you'll remember, at the London Bridge attack 3 months ago, the attacker there had also recently been released from prison. There is a system here in the UK where people are released from jail halfway through their sentence. It's called being released on licence, and those people who are released are often actively tracked, and that tracking has increased since the London Bridge attack, but clearly not enough to prevent what happened here on the Streatham High Road in South London.
Former Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce will try to reclaim leadership of the National Party in the wake of the sports rorts scandal. It comes as Canberra was rocked by the resignation of another Victorian senator, Greens leader Richard Di Natale.
In the home of leadership fights, one leader announces he's leaving, another anoints his son, a third hangs on like grim death.
Good, mate. Thought I'd come and support you. Good, absolutely.
Tomorrow morning, the Nationals will replace Deputy Bridget McKenzie. She quit over a conflict of interest, but shrugs off claims she pork-barrelled tens of millions in taxpayer sports grants.
There was no political bias in my decision-making.
Queenslander David Littleproud is frontrunner for Deputy Nationals leader, though
I will be standing for the position.
And on 7 Sunrise, the best known of Parliament's 21 Nationals leapfrogged the 2IC job to declare himself a candidate for leader.
If there's a spill, Koshy, then I'll put my hand up.
No spill has been called, and I'm not expecting one to be.
The junior party in government has until tomorrow to decide whether they want Barnaby too, the man they once hailed as their great vote puller before his highly public marriage split, relationship with a staff member and resignation from the Deputy Prime Ministership.
Nobody has phoned me to say that there's a spill.
But several Nationals have balked at supporting their current leader. That's well short of the 11 votes Barnaby Joyce needs, but a start. This as Greens too prepare for a party room decision.
I'm resigning as parliamentary leader of the Australian Greens.
5 years at the Green helm, Richard Di Natale says he will leave the Senate to support wife Lucy Quatermain's career and spend more time with his young sons, Adam Bant and Larissa Waters, both possible replacements. As well, Bob Katter has handed the reins of his self-named party to son and Queensland State MP Robbie Katter. Tim Lester, 7 News.
Gangland lawyer turned informer Nicola Gobbo has won the right to keep her face hidden when she gives evidence to the Lawyer X Royal Commission tomorrow. The defence barrister's image will be suppressed while she testifies via phone. A commissioner accepted that showing her new appearance could put her family at risk. Novak Djokovic has apologised for touching the chair umpire during a fiery Australian Open final. Andrew McCormack caught up with the 17-time Grand Slam winner a short time ago.
Well, he's the undisputed king of Melbourne Park, and somewhere in there is Novak Djokovic. He's just as popular here at the Botanic Gardens here in Melbourne after winning an 8th Australian Open crown. But Djokovic's win wasn't without controversy. He had a run-in with the chair umpire, making contact with his foot after a couple of time violations.
I'm not happy that I touched the chair umpire. I'm sorry if I offended him or anybody else, but you know, in a heat of a battle, you know, some decisions that he makes or something that happens just distracts you and sets you off.
He also was frustrated with the Melbourne Park crowd, with Rod Laver certainly in the corner of the underdog Austrian for much of the night.
Novak is fuming at the crowd right now. The crowd wanted a great match, and I think that's what they got. And I think there was a lot of support for both players, and there was a lot of emotions. It was very turbulent, you know, ups and downs.
Another Australian Open title takes him to 17 Grand Slam titles overall, just 3 behind the great Roger Federer.
I'm obviously thrilled to be in a position to still be in the mix in terms of conversation for the most Grand Slam titles, and at this stage of my career and my life, that's professionally what matters the most to me.
So Novak will take a much-deserved break for a short time with his family before he embarks on the road to Grand Slam title number 18 in the coming months.
Remarkable achievement. Global uncertainty about the coronavirus has spread to the Australian share market. That is still to come this afternoon. Also, a lasting legacy announced for former Premier John Cain as he's honoured with a state memorial service. And how a break-in at a Melbourne home ended on a positive note.
You are the My Kitchen Rules champions.
The Sausage Man has never done anything like this. Will his secret weapon take Manu's champs to the top?
My Kitchen Rules. Tonight, 7:30 on 7.
Got my plant-based Rebel Whopper, your triple Whopper cheese.
And my double Homestyle Whopper.
Try Hungry Jack's new Homestyle Whopper with iBacon, barbecue, chipotle and crispy bacon. Whopper your way. Only at Hungry Jack's.
Installation's simple. You just plug in.
And play.
When you're working hard, you need a boot that's comfortable all day. DeWalt Pro Comfort boots with a unique shock-absorbing inner sole and high-rebound midsole for all-day comfort. Get the job done with DeWalt Pro Comfort boots. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
When choosing paracetamol to relieve pain, it's important to know not all are the same. Panadol with Optizorb has an advanced formula to deliver paracetamol more efficiently and be absorbed faster. Imagine this is your stomach and this vinegar your stomach acid. Watch how Panadol with Optizorb's patented delivery system goes to work.
Panadol Optizorb, fast and effective pain relief that's gentle on the stomach.
Available at your pharmacy or supermarket. This has been Medifax for Panadol with Optizorb.
Teaching is changing, with more support for students, more opportunities for teachers and state-of-the-art schools. It's why there's never been a better time to choose a career in teaching. Learn more at vic.gov.au/teachthefuture. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
I'll get the tickets.
Love the new apartment. Cheers, mate. New stereo, plasma, and this. Whoa.
Booyah! Booyah! You really should go. We're going to be like...
Booyah! Booyah! Booyah!
We really got to go. We're going to miss the gig. We've been robbed.
What about Booyah?
If it's worth something to you, it's worth something to us. That's why Amy Contents Insurance offers new fraud replacement due to fire or theft. That's value. That's Amy.
Lucky you're with Amy.
If you've been injured in a road accident, it's important to know where you stand. Talk to Australia's #1 injuries law firm. Morris Blackburn Lawyers will maximise your compensation so you can get on with your life again. Call us now. It costs nothing to know where you stand.
G'day, Sue. Join me for a walk?
I'd love to, but my legs are aching.
I had the same problem. You need Revitive. It's the circulation booster that gets my leg muscles pumping, which could improve circulation and help relieve aches, pains and swelling. Plus, it's drug-free. It's truth. Someone got Revitive. I'll race you to the cafe. Get Revitive today. It just might change your life.
New Revitive Medic Plus, now in stores and revitive.com.
I need a dollar, that's what I
A little
need.
goes a long way at Macca's. Share 24 Chicken McNuggets with your mate. Just $9.95 every day.
Former Labor Premier John Cain has been honoured with a state memorial service at St Paul's Cathedral. Joining us live now is State Political Editor Brendan Donoghue. Good afternoon, Brendan. The church was full to overflowing.
Well, yes, Jack, if you didn't get there an hour before the 11 a.m. start, it was standing room only for many hundreds when about 3,000 people turned out to honour John Cain, who passed away in late December, aged 88. Former Prime Minister Julia Gillard and 5 Victorian premiers, including 3 Liberal premiers, paid their respects to the man who dominated politics in the 1980s. Now, John Cain, he won 3 elections, 1982, 85 and 1988, following in the footsteps of his father, John Cain Sr., who won 3 much shorter terms in office in the 1950s. John Cain is credited with reforms ranging from gender equity to liberalising liquor, shop trading and occupational health and safety laws.
He was a thinker, a reformer, a true believer, relentless in his pursuit of positive change.
The square deal was something of a personal credo for my father. Nothing hidden, values related to stability, decency and integrity.
Stay the course, never give up was his message to us. He would urge us all today to do the same.
Jackie, John Cain's role in cementing the Australian Tennis Open at Melbourne Park, it will be honoured when the Melbourne Arena is shortly renamed John Cain Arena, a fitting tribute to someone who also loved tennis. Jack?
Yeah, wonderful legacy. Thank you very much, Brendan. A mother and her 3 children have had a lucky escape from a Caroline Springs house fire. It started in the garage and quickly spread to the rest of the house. Paul Dowsley has more.
Not much is left of the front of this house in Caroline Springs after an intense blaze ripped through just before 6 this morning. And a family of 4 were inside. Thankfully, they all escaped uninjured, but shocked. And it's believed to be a mother and her 3 children. The fire seems to have started in the garage, and before long the roof went up as well. And most rooms in the house have been destroyed, plus 2 cars in the driveway.
Just a big ball of flame, and the mother was just, you know, she was so shaking and crying, and her children were comforting her.
Yeah, they were sitting there on the curb, so I went out, asked them if they were okay, if anyone was hurt, but yeah, they were just shaking.
When firefighters arrived, their priority was to go inside and confirm that no one was in the house.
It was pretty intense, especially for the first firefighters entering through the front door of the house. Roof had collapsed in, further possible collapse for firefighters working inside.
But they made another discovery at the back of the house.
Firefighters have located a hydroponics set up in the back of the house.
It's understood there were around a dozen marijuana plants, but the family doesn't have a history with police. In some good news, the family was reunited with one of their cats, a little kitten. Fire investigators will now determine the cause, and amongst all this mess, they will try to find out whether the residents had been bypassing the electricity box for their hydroponic setup.
A music teacher has been reunited with stolen violins worth more than $100,000. A century-old violin was amongst several prized instruments taken from Jenny Okwashaw's home last month. The collection was found in the boot of a stolen car that was seen leaving the scene of the crime. She says she's relieved to have the irreplaceable instruments back. A homeless man is expected to be charged. Boris Johnson has vowed to play by his own rules in a post-Brexit trade deal. That's ahead this afternoon. Also, why 3 in 5 frustrated teachers are ready to resign. And the superstars who stole the show at the Super Bowl.
The season starts with a blockbuster clash.
This is huge.
Richmond versus Carlton. AFLW. Friday, 7:30 on 7.
Isn't it funny how different our kids are? The way they do things their own way. Luckily, Tip Top has a range of bread that has all the fibre, vitamins and minerals they need in white, wholemeal and kids' grains. Tip Top the one for everyone.
The bestest picnic ever. Mum and Gran will be there. And Tommy's there, but he's a koala. Then Dad can ride in on the unicorn. No, a piece of corn. And there's cupcakes and magical fairies. And yummy sandwiches, but not any sandwiches. Gigantic sandwiches. And it starts raining fairy bread. Yeah! That would be awesome. Meadow Lee!
Introducing Macca's delicious new McVeggie burgers with a crunchy potato, cheese and veggie patty, fresh lettuce, creamy mayo and our famous pickles. Now there truly is something for everyone.
What strange magic is this? How did I get here?
It's okay, man. It's a 5G thing. It's called bandwidth. That's how we all got here. It means more players can play different games all at the same time.
Witchcraft?
Hey Melbourne, let's make every drop count. By brushing your pearly whites with the tap off, by shaving a minute off your shower, and getting those water leaks sorted out. Using the half flush when you can, and going easy with the hose. Because if we each save a little, we all save a lot. Together, let's target 155 litres per person per day. For tips and more information, search Target 155. Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
A few days ago, John had muscle pain. Then he discovered Voltaren Emel Gel. It relieves pain 2 times faster and reduces inflammation to help get you moving sooner. And now introducing Voltaren Emel Gel with an innovative no-mess applicator. Targeted pain relief without having to wash your hands. Now with a no-mess applicator.
If you're looking for a simple home loan with a great low rate, then walk this way. With a RAMS Essential Home Loan, you can enjoy both. Backed by our famous silver service. RAMS, greater together.
Good morning.
More treatment.
We're going to try something different today.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Dogs bring out the good in us. Pedigree brings out the good in them.
The school year's just kicked off, but the majority of teachers are already thinking about quitting. More than half say their workloads have become unmanageable and they wouldn't recommend teaching as a career. Dean Felton explains.
Monash University asked questions of 2,500 teachers across Australia. Their answers were stark and disturbing. 34% of teachers surveyed were dissatisfied with their roles. 58% said they planned to leave the job. 53% said they wouldn't recommend teaching as a career. And 75% said their workload was unmanageable. Stephanie Westcott spent 5 years in the classroom before changing professions.
I left teaching for the same reason that a lot of teachers leave. The workload is incredibly difficult to manage. One thing that a lot of people don't realise about teaching is that it takes a significant emotional toll on teachers. We're very connected to the young people that we work with.
Maths teacher Lauren Major admits the workload is demanding.
Ever since I've started, it's been a really big workload. However, over time, the culture here at McKinnon's become more team-based, so there's a lot of support here from my colleagues.
Principal Pitzer Binion has seen big changes since she started in the classroom 35 years ago.
I think society has become more complex. I think society's issues are much more complex, and if you're going to see more pressures out in the society, then you're going to see them engaged in your school.
71% of the teachers surveyed said they didn't feel appreciated. But the Monash Uni survey also found that around 90% of the public both trusted and respected teachers. So to help get the message through, the uni wants to get the Thank Your Teacher hashtag trending. The alternative could be a disastrous shortage of educators.
Britain has ruled out sticking with the European Union rules and regulations in any post-Brexit trade deal. Boris Johnson will seek new trading relationships with all 27 EU countries in the coming months. The government says keeping the status quo would defeat the purpose of Brexit. And East Africa is enduring its worst locust season in 70 years. Officials in Kenya have resorted to firing machine guns and tear gas into swamps in a bid to stop them consuming crops. Small planes spraying pesticide have also been deployed. The United Nations says if the outbreak isn't controlled, the locust plague could spread to 30 countries in Africa and Asia. A grieving Sydney mother says she forgives the allegedly drunk driver who killed 3 of her children. She's made a heartbreaking visit to the crash site, as Marley Hogan reports.
Well, this community is in pain. They are suffering from unimaginable grief as they mourn the loss of 4 young lives. Anthony Abdullah and his 2 younger sisters, Angelina and Sienna, and their cousin, Veronique Saker, were allegedly killed by a drunk driver on Saturday night. The mother of the 3 siblings arrived at the scene today, and while she was visibly shaken, she found the strength to forgive the 29-year-old man accused of running down her 3 babies.
Right now, I can't hate him. And I don't want to see him. I don't hate him. I think in my heart I forgive him. But I want the court to be fair, right? It's all about fairness.
29-year-old Samuel William Davidson is facing 20 charges, including 4 counts of manslaughter. It's alleged he was 3 times the legal limit when he mounted the curb on Bettington Road in Oatlands around 8 on Saturday night. The kids had been walking on the path just around the corner from their home. They were on their way to buy ice cream. 4 children were killed. Another 3 from the same extended family were taken to hospital but are now recovering well. The children's mother, Layla, giving an update on her other daughter who had surgery this morning.
She had 3 angels looking after her. I felt like Jesus was doing the surgery for her because, I can't afford to lose any more kids.
The memorial by the side of the road continues to grow. School friends have come and placed tributes to their lost classmates. Friends, family and complete strangers are coming to show their support as the whole community feels this tragic loss. The alleged drunk driver will remain behind bars until his case returns to court in April.
Millions of fans around the world have tuned in to America's Super Bowl to see a rookie punter from Perth kick off an epic match. US correspondent Amelia Brace was at the game in Miami.
Yeah, I'm here exclusively in the 49ers dressing room, and it wasn't the fairy tale ending for Mitch Wishnowsky, but it was the fairy tale start. It was a hard-fought first half. The 49ers were up against the Chiefs battling a 50-year Super Bowl drought. And it was a rare tied game as they paused for the famous Super Bowl halftime show. Oh, baby, when you talk like that, you make a woman go mad. Then it was Jenny from the block herself, Jennifer Lopez, wowing the sellout crowd. Tonight we gon' be on the floor. Plenty of celebrities were in the stands, Beyonce, Paul McCartney, and for those at home, plenty more in the ads.
What would you expect?
I don't know. Me?
Safety first.
Yeah.
That feels pretty darn good. Oh.
In the end, it was all about what happened on the field. The Chiefs fighting back against the Niners. With just a couple of minutes left, Kansas City sealed the deal.
Into the end zone for the touchdown! And Andy Reid gets to celebrate with his team.
It was tough for the 49ers, but well-deserved for the Chiefs. 50 years since they played or won a Super Bowl.
More Melbourne businesses are becoming casualties of the coronavirus as scared shoppers stay away. That is still to come this afternoon. Also, how parents packing lunches can help keep their kids' classmates safe. And a BAFTAs cameo for an Aussie Golden Girl despite missing out on an award.
I can't believe I'm telling you this. It's huge, I can hear it.
Sounds like a jet engine.
Have you ever seen a fire like this?
Never.
The last word you said, I promise I'll be safe.
Those that work under me save the lives of many.
I'm right.
I'm a very proud captain.
Australia has seen a lot of bushfires. We have never seen anything like this.
Hellfire, the 7 News event, Tuesday, 9 o'clock.
Want to slim down for summer? It's easy with Slim Right.
I lost 8 kilos in 8 weeks.
I lost 9.1 kilos.
I lost weight with Slim Right, and you can too.
See the latest trend-setting interior shaker doors. With solid panels, safe glass or mirror options, and we can install, you'll be spoilt for choice. Visit a showroom and book your free measuring quote. Doors Plus,
no fuss.
I need a dollar, that's what I need.
A little goes a long way at Macca's. Share 24 chicken McNuggets with your mate. Just $9.95 every day.
You might see her miss out on the excursion, but you don't see her parents struggling to make ends meet. You might see her worn-out uniform, but you don't see her hiding because she doesn't fit in. You might see her losing confidence, but you don't know how hard she's trying. For children in poverty, every day can be overwhelming. Amy has almost nothing left to give. Do you? Please sponsor an Australian child today. Search the Smith family.
Darling, did you clean your shoes like I asked?
All our shoes ruined.
Where will we get the money?
Wallet Wizard! Fast and easy cash loans. walletwizard.com.au.
Are you unable to work due to illness or injury? You could claim insurance as part of your super. Talk to Australia's #1 law firm today. Morris Blackburn Lawyers will maximise your claim. Call for your free super check now. It costs nothing to know where you stand.
Introducing new Jumpstart by Light and Easy, the new program that will help fast-track your weight loss success in 2020.
The first 2 weeks on Light and Easy were actually really easy. It's just amazing.
Jumpstart your 2020 weight loss goals today.
Welcome back to 7's Afternoon News. Time now for a look at today's main stories. And 5 men are in hospital after being crushed in a scaffolding collapse at Craigieburton. Police investigate after a 3-year-old girl was found dead inside a car on a hot day. A grandfather has been described attacked by a dog while riding his mobility scooter. And Novak Djokovic has apologised for touching a chair umpire during a fiery Australian Open win. Coronavirus is taking a heavy toll on many Melbourne businesses. Those in areas popular with the Chinese community are reporting a massive drop in takings, with shoppers too frightened to leave home. Laurel Irving explains.
Here in Box Hill is the heart of one of Melbourne's largest Chinese community, and it's very much feeling the impact of the coronavirus. Many businesses here are reporting trade is down by as much as 70%, that normally thriving businesses now have very few customers, that the shopping centre car parks are all but empty. They say they will have problems very soon paying their rent, and they're currently negotiating with shopping centre owners to try to give them some relief. And they say that the fear about coronavirus has spread much more quickly than the virus itself. They've called for some perspective, given there are only 4 cases of coronavirus confirmed in Victoria.
The fear in terms of the spread through misinformation by media and social media, it's affected people's livelihoods, like locally here in Australia, although the virus hasn't.
In recent years, Box Hill's economy has been thriving. To give you an idea, these bank branches here are among the busiest in Australia normally. Now they're all but empty. Businesses say they're not sure how much longer this can go on.
Australia's financial markets have been rocked by a massive sell-off. Network Finance editor Gemma Acton joins me live. Good afternoon, Gemma. How are things looking for investors?
Well, Jackie, it certainly wasn't a good day for Australian shares, but on the other hand, people had expected quite a lot worse. The ASX 200 index ended up closing around 1.3% lower, but people had feared it would drop by as much as 1.7% today alone. Now, it was energy companies that, unsurprisingly, were the hardest hit today, whereas on the other hand, gold miners did well. Investors were looking for somewhere safe to park their money, and that's where they put it. Turning to the Aussie dollar, now remembering this has just come off the worst January since 2015, where it lost nearly 5% of its value against the US dollar. Well, today it continued its slide downwards, and now it's looking at lows it hasn't seen for 11 years. Jackie.
Yeah, not good news at all. Thank you very much, Gemma Acton there. Australia's hopes of BAFTA success have been dashed after Margot Robbie missed out on a Best Supporting Actress award. But she still made headlines as she accepted an award on behalf of Brad Pitt. Sarah Greenock was there.
Well, a disappointing result for Margot Robbie, but the Australian did manage to create one of the most memorable moments of the evening, reading out an acceptance speech written by co-star Brad Pitt, who won for Best Supporting Actor for his role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The speech managed to make 2 gags, one about Brexit, the other about Megxit.
Okay, he starts by saying, "Hey Britain, heard you just became single, welcome to the club." Wishing you the best with the divorce settlement. Oh, and he says that he is going to name this Harry because he is really excited about bringing it back to the States with him. His words, not mine.
That line delivered directly in front of Prince William and Kate. By far the big winner of the evening was 1917, the epic British war film directed by Sam Mendes. It was nominated for 9 awards. It managed to take out 7, including Best Film and Best Director.
To me, to get this in my hometown for the first time and to be able to say thank you to my beautiful family.
Renee Zellweger won Best Actress for her role in Judy, Joaquin Phoenix winning Best Actor for his portrayal in The Joker. The BAFTAs are widely considered the best indicator of which movies and performances will be successful at the Oscars. They're on in 1 week's time.
Time for sport now, and Geelong champion Gary Ablett is preparing for life after footy. And Sean Selby, you caught up with the little master.
Jack, the two-time Brownlow medalist, has a plan. We'll hear from him next on 7's Afternoon News. And more from Miami as the Chiefs come from behind to win Super Bowl 54.
Tonight, get ready.
Mommy? Get off the field! Cruel summer. Go! Leaving me here on my own. It's a cruel summer. Now you're gone.
Mommy! Get away from the water! Get away from the water! The new series event, 911. Tonight after MKR on 7.
Sunscreen's going to help you?
When it comes to fighting the Aussie sun, there's care. And there's the uncommon care you get being an HCF member, like having access to free skin checks by a melanographer.
Why don't we just take a closer look at this one?
For early skin cancer detection and prevention. As Australia's largest not-for-profit health fund, we put people before profit. That's uncommon care.
With its quality flavours, don't just make it amazing. Cascade.
I need a dollar, that's what I
A little
need.
goes a long way at Macca's. Share 24 Chicken McNuggets with your mate. Just $9.95 every day.
Viking, the thinking person's cruise, with no kids and no casinos.
Viking's Explorer sale now on. Save up to $4,000 per couple. Call 138747 or see your Viking travel agent.
Land Rover sales season comes with an unprecedented $20,000 worth of extras on the special edition Range Rover Sport. Acquire yours before sales season goes.
Three wishes, Charlie. Oh.
But Charlie, you can't eat chocolate.
Oh, he knows. Tim Tam, what more could you wish for?
Does your energy provider chip in for your internet? Dodo does. Yep, we're an energy company and an internet company, which is why you get unlimited data on our NBN 50 plan for just $60 a month, when you also get electricity and gas. Switch at dodo.com.
Low GI for longer lasting energy. Wonder Active. Play on.
The hunter becomes the hunted. New Chase is here, and it starts with an absolute cracker. Weekdays at 5 on 7.
Hello again. Geelong superstar Gary Ablett says his plan is to finish his AFL career at the end of this year with a third premiership, and he believes the Cats have the team to do it. I was lucky enough to catch up with the two-time Brownlow medalist doing a job he's never done before. A taste of life after football for one of the greatest players of all time.
It does similar things to what we're doing here.
Gary Ablett selling packages to holiday and train alongside him on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a different experience for me today, sitting behind a table and selling travel packages, but it's been fun at the same time. You know, it's something that I'm really passionate about. I've always been into my fitness, always been into travelling and just connecting with people as well.
This will be the dual Brownlow medalist's 19th and final season before he retires, and he admits it's a weird feeling.
There's kind of that excitement, and I'm probably a little nervous at the same time, knowing that footy's going to end at the end of this year. But I'm just trying to enjoy, every moment, whether that be every training session, just being able to hang out with the boys.
Fellow Cats veteran Harry Taylor also contemplated retiring at the end of last year. The lure to chase a third premiership too hard to resist for the 33-year-old who won't rule out playing on next year.
Not really sure, just happy to
try to play good, consistent footy to help the team. That's sort of as far as, I guess, my horizon is. If I can do that, then we'll wait and see what happens.
Taylor joined former Saints Nick Riewoldt and Brendan Goddard playing in the Matty Riewoldt Foundation's Charity Golf Day at the Clifton Springs Golf Club.
The foundation raises a lot of money for a great cause, so happy to come along. Any excuse to come and play golf is a good one.
The Day on the Purple raised more than $70,000 to find new treatments for bone marrow failure. Novak Djokovic insists he didn't cross the line by making contact with the chair umpire during an enthralling win over Dominic Thiem in the men's final last night. Djokovic sarcastically tapped the umpire's foot after being hit with consecutive code violations for time wasting in the second set.
Great job. You made yourself famous. Well done.
I thought it was a nice, really friendly touch. I wasn't aggressive with him.
From 2-1 down, Djokovic clawed his way back to win a 5-set classic lasting nearly 4 hours.
It's an 8th Australian Open Championship for Novak.
The Serbian superstar now has 17 Grand Slam titles, 3 shy of Roger Federer. Australia's wait for a Super Bowl winner continues after Mitch Wishnowski's San Francisco 49ers came up agonisingly short. The punter from Perth had the honour of getting the NFL decider underway in Miami this morning. His 49ers led the Kansas City Chiefs by 10 points in the final quarter before some Patrick Mahomes
launches down the middle, Hill, open, caught, the big play.
The longest play of the game sparked a run of 3 unanswered touchdowns. Kansas City ran out 31-20 winners. Coach Andy Reid got the Gatorade shower and Mahomes took out the MVP award. And Tottenham stunned reigning English Premier League champions Manchester. We'll have plenty more from Geelong superstar Gary Ablett coming up in our 6 o'clock.
You never get enough of Gary Ablett. Thanks very much, Sean. Time now to see how Melbourne's traffic is shaping up this afternoon.
Good afternoon, it's Hayley in the Lexus of Brighton traffic chopper taking a look at the Tullamarine Freeway, headed outbound past Bullet Road. Just some residual congestion following an earlier broken down truck that just has been packed up, and some debris was being cleared out of the running lanes as well, but not too much to hold you up at the moment. It's F-Sport time at Lexus of Brighton. Receive a sports upgrade on select models valued from $7,367. Visit Lexus of Brighton today. T's and C's apply.
It's a special place, Melbourne. There's always something happening. Bringing the news home to Melbourne is a privilege.
Victoria's Secret has been hit by a fresh scandal over allegations an executive harassed models. An explosive report in the New York Times accuses executive Ed Razak of inappropriate behaviour towards several women, including supermodel Bella Hadid.
At one point he said, "Forget the panties." And he went on to say that what everyone's going to need to be more concerned about is how the network was going to feel when she, quote, walked down the runway with those perfect, end quote.
Mr Razak denies the claims, saying they are untrue, misconstrued or taken out of context. Parents put a lot of thought into the food they pack for their children's school lunches. Now they're being urged to consider their kids' classmates as well to keep students with food allergies safe. Mackenzie Rawn has the details.
Well, school is back, and that means so too is the routine of packing lunches. For many parents, the focus has long been on ensuring their children have a range of healthy options. But now Queensland Health is urging mums and dads to also think about other children by ensuring the food they pack is allergy friendly.
It helps other parents to feel that their young children are quite safe going to school.
Peanut and cow's milk allergies are the most common, affecting 2% of children, and it's those with a nut allergy that face the biggest risk of severe reaction, including life-threatening anaphylaxis, something both of McGowie's and Yemba's children know too well.
You feel helpless, and the child's scared as well, like you can see the fear in their eyes.
Keeping lunchboxes allergy-friendly doesn't have to be difficult, with plenty of safe and tasty options to choose from.
It's responsible for parents not to send peanut paste and things like hard-boiled egg that's been mashed. When they're putting muesli bars in, just make sure that they've got a nut-free one.
Parents of children with allergies are also encouraged to educate their kids on the importance of not sharing lunches or accepting food from other parents, teachers or students unless they know it's safe.
Peter Mitchell's getting ready for 7 News at 6. Let's have a look at what's ahead.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up at 6 o'clock, 3 men seriously injured in a scaffolding collapse in Melbourne's north. We're live for the latest. Also, the police investigation into the mystery death of a little girl. A plea from a grandfather attacked by a dog while riding his mobility scooter. Exclusive pictures as dozens of Australians have flown out of the coronavirus epicentre. Why most Victorian teachers are ready to call it quits. And first on 7, Gary Ablett reveals his game plan for his final year of football. All these stories and more are coming up in 7 News at 6. Jackie.
Thank you, Midge. 3 of the world's rarest cubs can soon be spotted at Melbourne Zoo. The snow leopards were born on Australia Day to first-time mum Miska and dad Kangju. The pair is part of an international breeding program for the vulnerable species. The fluffy trio will spend time in a den bonding with their mother before being introduced to the public. Time now for a check on the weather. Here's Jane Bunn. Great to have you back, Jane. It has been rather cool out there, though.
Absolutely, Jack. We have experienced quite a change in the weather. I'll have the details on that after the break.
Australia's biggest week of sport this year is here. Thursday, the Challenger Final decides who will make the Big Bash Grand Final. Oh, God! Friday, AFLW kicks off with a blockbuster clash. A huge kick! Then, Saturday, India test our Aussie champs in the women's T20. That is amazing! Then, Warren Ponting leading the who's who of cricket for the Bushfire Bash. Oh! Then, the massive Big Bash Grand Final. What a way to finish it! Australia's biggest week of sport this year starts Thursday on 7.
I won miniature Tim Tams at the supermarket.
Oh, I won real ones.
Who wants miniature prizes when you could win real ones? With IGA's Shop Scratch Win. 1 in 5 chance to win instantly with every $30 spent. Millions of prizes to be won. And while you're there, get John West Tuna 95-gram varieties half price. And Paddy's Party 30-pack or Mini Combo 40-pack also half price. Shop Scratch Win at IGA.
Viking, the thinking person's cruise, with no kids and no casinos.
Viking's Explorer sale now on. Save up to $4,000 per couple. Call 138747 or see your Viking travel agent.
Mr. Jewell, did you plant a bomb in Centennial Park?
My son is innocent. I report the facts.
You've ruined this man's life.
I didn't do this.
Meet the revolutionary Sleeping Duck mattress taking Australia by storm. It's the next generation mattress reimagined by aerospace engineers, making history. Choices best overall mattress 2 years in a row. That's Sleeping Duck. One giant leap for your sleep.
The 2019 Mazda stock clearance is here. Get in quick for a clearance deal on Mazda CX-5. See your local Mazda dealer before it ends.
Let's check in courtside with Dylan.
I'm financing like I've never done before.
Check your financial wellbeing score with ANZ.
Dylan, we are live.
It feels good to get on top of your money.
Introducing Macca's delicious new McVeggie burgers with a crunchy potato, cheese and veggie patty, fresh lettuce, creamy mayo and our famous pickles. Now there truly is something for everyone.
Feel like a rock star when you park like a rock star. Short and sweet zone now open at Melbourne Airport.
New moves.
Oh, wow.
Will be made. New challenges.
Gonna go the big one.
Go the big one.
Will be set. Records smashed.
The hunter becomes the hunted.
New chase is here, and it starts with an absolute cracker. Coming up next on 7.
This weather report is brought to you by New Melbourne Airport short and sweet parking.
Hello again. After the recent heat, today's wind feels quite cold. The city has only reached a top of 17.7. That's 8 degrees below the February average. Southwest winds were pushing showers across the Melbourne area. There are a few millimetres recorded in the southeast. Those ease back this afternoon, but the wind, it has a bit of bite. It is currently 16 or 17 across town, but in some spots where the wind is extra gusty, it feels like only 9 degrees. The cloud and showers are only affecting southern Victoria. It came close to snowing at Mount Baw, and it did snow in Tasmania. The north still has sunshine, but the southerly wind has an effect. It is only 22 in Echuca, 21 in Bendigo, 18 in Sale, 15 in Traralgon. The hot and tropical air was knocked out by a cold front, and what we're breathing now was once over Antarctica. The next ridge of high pressure moves in tomorrow, and it should protect us for the rest of the week, while tropical moisture runs into troughs that are up further north. So Victoria is generally dry until the weekend, but there's a lot of activity up to our north. Rain across the top, but also in these parts of Queensland and New South Wales. There's the potential for effective rain on the fires that are still burning on the south coast. We're cool today, greens and even blues across Victoria in these gusty southerly winds. But the wind gradually turns easterly this week. It'll warm up but also turn humid. Not as much as what we saw on Saturday. Yeah, this time it's coming from Sydney, not from up in Darwin. Around the nation tomorrow, a gusty cool change hits Sydney late tonight. Tomorrow just 24, cloudy but dry. Hobart 40 last Friday, only 15 today, a comfortable 21 tomorrow. Adelaide begins a sunny stretch. To Victoria, the cool wind eases. Tomorrow is dry and mild to warm. Cloud at first in the south, otherwise it is sunny. In Melbourne, just early cloud ahead of a sunny day. Light winds should make 21 feel a lot nicer than we saw today. That's the latest. I'll have more at 6. Jack.
Sounds fabulous. Thank you, Jane. And that is all from Melbourne's afternoon news. Thanks for joining us. At 6, Peter Mitchell will bring you an exclusive look at the mission to rescue Australians trapped in the epicentre of the coronavirus. For now, though, from the team, have a great afternoon.